So today, let's talk about Jupiter in Aquarius. Jupiter is the energy of good fortune, knowledge, wisdom, and it's about experience and travel as well. It rules the ninth house. The ninth house is about new experiences or like expansion. It's all about expanding your mind, especially. Ultimately, it will show where a lot of your good fortune comes from in life. And Aquarius is a sign ruled by Uranus. Uranus is all about shocking change or unexpected events. It's everything that's unusual, unconventional, or shocking. So having Jupiter in Aquarius shows that one's good fortune will come in sudden, unexpected moments. And a lot of times throughout your life, the biggest blessings or positive moments took the form of sudden, unexpected changes or sudden, unexpected windfalls of good luck, or like a sudden event that was very positive. Now, Jupiter also shows our knowledge and what makes us wise. And when you have it in Aquarius, this shows a lot of knowledge regarding technology, computers, or the internet, or just anything technical in general, because Aquarius is all about complex reasoning and it's all about things that are technical. Depending on which house you have Jupiter, it will show an area of life where you have technical knowledge or where you might have a more philosophical mindset as well, because Jupiter can be philosophical. So for example, if you have Jupiter in the second house, you could be very philosophical about money and your possessions and about investing, and you could have like this very futuristic or forward thinking way of using your money because Jupiter is in Aquarius, and Aquarius is all about being forward. Jupiter also will show our sense of humor. So having Jupiter in Aquarius will show you have a quirky or unusual sense of, or like a sense of humor that's very technical or geeky. And since Jupiter is also about beliefs and like convictions, and it's like about knowledge, information that we believe. Those that have Jupiter in Aquarius, they usually have very logical beliefs, and everything that they believe, they needed it for it to make sense before they can believe it, because Aquarius is very common sense oriented. It's all about like reasoning and logic, and they're very good with information as well because Aquarius is an air sign. So generally speaking, those with Jupiter in Aquarius, they will be very open-minded people, but before they believe something, they just need it like to make sense conceptual. These are not people that can believe things for no reason or like without having some sort of like evidence or logical train of thought to come to a conclusion. Their beliefs could even be very scientific in nature because Aquarius can be about science and technology. These people can be prone to taking sudden, unexpected risks in their life because Jupiter is about risks, and Aquarius is one of the most rebellious and unusual signs, and it's about anything that is sudden or unexpected. Finally, Jupiter will show an area of life where we are optimistic. So it's the opposite of Saturn, which shows an area that is gloomy, pessimistic, or filled with fear. And so in terms of having Jupiter in Aquarius, it shows somebody that's quite optimistic about the future and about what's possible. And they're also tend to be optimistic about society and like humans in general. They believe in the best goodness of humanity because Aquarius is about humanity. So now, before we talk about what this placement means to each of the houses, here are a few celebrities that have this placement: Barack Obama, Marilyn Monroe, Albert Einstein, Princess Diana, George Clooney, Lana Del Rey, Kylie Jenner, Elizabeth II, Jim Carrey, Meryl Streep, Joseph Stalin, Tyra Banks, Robbie Williams, Romy Snyder, Kate Moss, Keira Knightley, Christian Bale, Bruno Mars, Paul Walker, Pablo Escobar, and rapper/performer XXXTentacion. Now, starting with the first house, let's talk about what this placement means. So in the first house, this is the house that represents identity and personality. So Jupiter here will give you an optimistic, humorous, or bubbly personality. Also, you will be quite an independent thinker, somebody that needs to come to their own opinions and conclusions, because Jupiter is all about wisdom, and when it's in the first house, this means your wisdom comes from yourself primarily, and it comes from logic because Aquarius is the sign of logic. So that's why this combination will show somebody that needs to think for themselves. And so other people may may look up to you as a source of guidance or knowledge. And you might be very preachy or judgmental as well, because Jupiter can be judgmental, especially when it's in the first house. And Aquarius can be quite critical. So you can be like highly logical person that comes across like a know-it-all sometimes. But you don't necessarily mean badly, but it would just come off that way in the cases where you are judgmental or you jump to conclusions, or you like criticize other people's like opinions or something. In the second house, Jupiter in Aquarius shows somebody that will be very fortunate financially, and they will make a lot of income from technology or any sort of technical fields or technical talent that they may have, because Aquarius is about technology and the second house is about finances. It's also the house that represents talents as well. So somebody could be talented with technology or programming that has displacement, and this can make them a lot of money. But also Jupiter, not Jupiter, but Aquarius is about streams of income. It's about the internet. It's about being interconnected and also being like self-reliant. So Jupiter being in the second house in Aquarius gives somebody the fortune of having financial freedom at some point in their life. Like one of their positive blessings is, the financial aspect of their life, because Jupiter expands things, and in the second house it will make somebody rich, make somebody wealthy, and especially at least be financially free, because Aquarius is all about freedom and like self-reliance, like I was saying. And then Jupiter is representing good fortune. So together it really signals to me somebody that reaches a point of financial freedom and that just has good fortune when it comes to money. And also you have sudden, like unexpected good periods financially, or sudden events of large increase or large windfalls of money. When Jupiter in Aquarius is in the third house, this will show somebody that is quite philosophical and knowledgeable about a lot of technical information and has this ability to communicate technical information to other people. This is also a placement that makes somebody a good teacher or a good influencer, the ability to like change other people's minds. And generally speaking, Jupiter expands any house that it's in. So when it's in the third house, which is the house of communication and of the mind, it can make somebody quite long-winded or just have a lot of internal dialogue and a lot of opinions as well. These people are very opinionated, and they can be a little bit geeky or like just knowledgeable about little like facts and like technical information because of the sign placement of Jupiter. And furthermore, in terms of their communication style, sometimes they can be like really long-winded and like philosophical. And sometimes they like to just go on tangents in their speech, so that they might change the subject because of, the fact that there's so much for them to like explain, and because they just know so much information. So these people are like great to listen to or learn from. So next, this leads us to the fourth house placement of Jupiter in Aquarius, which is where Jupiter is exalted. It's actually exalted in the fourth house. And the fourth house is all about security, emotional fulfillment, and it's about our heart. So those that have Jupiter in the fourth house here, they are generally like self-reliant in terms of their living situation. And that might, be in terms of like a financial situation that allows them to have like personal freedom. Some people that have this placement of Jupiter, for example, could be like kind of living off the grid or living like outside of, normal obligations for some reason, because Aquarius is all about freedom, and the fourth house is all about our living situation. And then Jupiter basically denotes good luck or good fortune in a certain area. So this often shows, people that have like freedom in a positive sense when it comes to their living situation. And oftentimes this may come from having additional streams of income or just a good financial fortune. But also Jupiter, when it's in the fourth house, is exalted because it's all about somebody that has a strong intuition and follows their heart, and in general, the fourth house is about our fulfillment. So Jupiter kind of blesses us emotionally when it's in the fourth house. So one will usually live quite a fulfilling life because of something unconventional that is a quality of their life. One of the qualities of their life could be unusual or unconventional, and allows them to have emotional fulfillment. And also these people might be very in touch with their individuality in some way, and like this contributes to their emotional fulfillment, because Aquarius is all about individuality. But overall, this really shows people that will follow their own intuition and come to their own conclusions, their own opinions as well, because they're independent thinkers, and they will come into their own conclusions about their lifestyle, and how they want to live it. And this gives them a lot of mental freedom. So that's Aquarius, Jupiter in the 4th house. Now let's talk about what it means in the 5th house. In the 5th house, which represents children, Jupiter might give somebody a lot of children, or that just might be an indicator of that. But also the 5th house is about our character, our personality. So having Jupiter in Aquarius in the 5th house will show somebody with a very jubilant and expansive personality, because Jupiter is very expansive. So their aura or their charisma can take up a lot of room or a lot of space in some way, or it can be very inviting or abundant, as the effect of Jupiter would indicate. Jupiter in the 5th house, people can also be very expressive of their opinions or their beliefs, because the 5th house is about self-expression, and it's about the things that we want to share, or that we want other people to notice or see about us, or about our mind. So in terms of Aquarius being the sign, this will show somebody that has strong humanitarian beliefs or convictions, or some sort of strong technical beliefs, or things that are very logical, and they're very vocal about those. And especially if there is a violation of human rights, or violation of common sense, these people will stand up to it in a strong fashion, because the 5th house is all about ego, and it is also about expression. So first of all, these people's opinions are quite associated to their ego and their sense of self, but also they will step up and want to express those things. Anyway, that is the 5th house placement of Jupiter in Aquarius. 6th house, Jupiter in Aquarius will show somebody that has an abundance of practical knowledge, or factual knowledge, because Jupiter shows what we're knowledgeable about. The 6th house is all about information, and it's all about statistics and facts. It's actually ruled by Mercury, and 6th house is all about observations. So these people will know a lot of statistical information, and they will be very technically gifted or knowledgeable. So they will be good with computers, and especially good at resolving malfunctions. They're good at fixing malfunctions in various things, especially in computers, but it could be in other aspects as well. So really the ruler of the 6th house will give us more information about what their technical skill is. But generally speaking, they're good troubleshooters, or people that can find the cause of an error or problem. Next, we have Jupiter in Aquarius in the 7th house. So when Jupiter is in the 7th house, it can give somebody an abundance of connections and resources, because the 7th house is ruled by Venus. But specifically, Jupiter here will show somebody gets access to a lot of resources through others, or a lot of blessings or positive situations through others. So a lot of times when Jupiter is in Aquarius in this house, it will show somebody that has a lot of friends, or has an expansive network, because Jupiter expands things wherever it's at. And that's really how I would summarize this one as well. Now also, the other trait about this placement is it will show somebody that's quite influential or persuasive, because their opinions tend to be logical and agreeable, because the 7th house is all about agreement, and it's all about the perspectives of other people. So these people have this ability to align their perspectives to how other people perceive things, or to align other people's perspectives to how they see. And it's coming from this logical and humble or equal kind of way of thinking or reasoning, because Jupiter is in the sign Aquarius, which is quite humble. It's all about equality, because it's about humanity and the collective, and it's very logical as well. So oftentimes these people will win arguments or convince others by just being very reasonable, and telling people what they already know to true, in a way that kind of proves their point. Next, we have Jupiter in Aquarius in the 8th house. Now, as I said in the beginning part of this video, Jupiter in Aquarius will show somebody that gets good fortune in sudden, unexpected moments. And this is further accentuated by the 8th house, because the 8th house is all about transformation. So a lot of times in your life, if you have Jupiter in this combination of Aquarius and the eighth house, it will show that your biggest blessings came from moments of change and transformation. And a lot of times they took a very sudden or unexpected form. So this is the type of energy where somebody's most transformational or like difficult moments end up being their biggest blessing as well, because the eighth house can be considered a malefic house, and it's all about those negative moments that kind of force us to grow or to change or to evolve. And it rules things such as death. It rules things such as debt, like owing money. It rules things such as endings. And so basically, when one thing ends, it starts a new cycle for ourselves. And a lot of times you have to leave behind something from the past that no longer serves us. So a lot of times that's the form that your biggest blessings tend to take the form of. And those changes can come about very unexpectedly, or like it can come from you rebelling as well, because Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, which is the rebel planet. So a lot of times you will be faced with a situation in your life where you have to stand up for yourself and like break free of that situation, and like leave everything good that situation gave you behind. And then at the time it might be negative, but essentially Jupiter makes sure that you come out like basically more blessed and strong on the other end each time, because Jupiter is about blessings and it's about expansion. So it's like whenever you cut things off or you go through an ending in your life, it's always because you're like choosing to head towards something better, or because the lessons you learned like made you grow out of that situation, because Jupiter is also about wisdom. So that's Jupiter in Aquarius in 8th house. Next, we have the 9th house placement of Jupiter in Aquarius. And as I was saying, Jupiter shows the source of our blessings and our good fortune. And this is one of those placements that shows that your greatest fortune will come through meeting strangers, because Aquarius is all about strangers. It's all about novelty, things that are unusual, unconventional. And it represents people as well. It represents like networking and like groups, and it represents like our individuality, because our individuality is really just based on the groups that we participate in or that we associate ourselves to. Everybody fits in different categories, if you know what I mean. And how that makes us individuals is just basically the fact that the categories that we put ourselves in are representing what makes us unique. But anyway, having Jupiter in the 9th house will show like new experiences, and like it's all about expansion. It's all about travel as well, and novelty. The 9th house is a mutable fire house, and mutable houses are all about change. And then Aquarius is all about networking and people. It's all about strangers. So a lot of times you'll get random like positive encounters with strangers, or like a stranger that you meet will become the solution to a problem that you have, or it will become an opportunity or a source of abundance for you. So I definitely recommend getting out there a lot if you have Jupiter in the 9th house in Aquarius, and like getting out and meeting other people a lot, because you will just get a lot of like good luck or good encounters from that. Jupiter in Aquarius in the 10th house will show somebody that achieves a lot of notoriety, fame, or success through some sort of innovation that they pioneer in their field. And it could just be them doing something for the first time, or like being the first person to do a certain accomplishment within a field, or like being the first person to succeed at a certain topic. And that's because Aquarius is all about innovation. It's all about things that are futuristic, and is a very inventive sign. So whether you try to do this consciously or not, like you might accidentally like invent something new within your career, or within like your business model or your way of trying to succeed. For example, the image that I get in my mind are like Twitch streamers back in the early days of Twitch. Like before playing video games or streaming yourself online was a career, and it was like very publicly known. And anyways, those first people that gained a lot of success at video game streaming, that would be like a good example of Jupiter in Aquarius in the 10th house. It's like they did something like unusual and they were the first to like succeed at it and make it into a staple of society. And so also this could be about entrepreneurs in general, like that are the first to create a business model out of something that was never done before. So you might have a hobby that you like really like doing, and you might decide to like turn it into a career, and you might become like enormously successful at it and be the first one to turn that into something that other people want to do as well, or people start to categorize it as a career possibility. Anyway, that's Jupiter in the 10th house when it's in Aquarius. On the other hand, some people might have a more traditional career, but like they might gain a lot of success by being like the first to accomplish something that is unusual or unique within that field that kind of progresses the whole field or gives them, a very pioneering public image. Now let's talk about what it means in the 11th house. So for the most part, I get the vibe that those that have Jupiter in the 11th house in Aquarius, they get their best fortune from striking out on their own and kind of going against the grain or against the crowd in certain ways. And by being more forward thinking or inventive than average, because the 11th house is quite independent in his ways of thinking, and it's like about being an individual or being unique or being different. It's all about our quirks or our unique traits. Now also this is why the 11th house will represent self-reliance as well, and it will show like streams of income, like additional streams of income to our career, because it's all about making money from our own hobbies or like our own interests and stuff like that. And also 11th house and Aquarius both rule technology and the internet, so having Jupiter here can bless somebody with additional streams of income that help them be financially self-reliant, but also like their biggest blessings will come when they choose to do things in their own way. And that's why it will also create streams of income for themselves when they choose to strike out on their own and like become entrepreneurs, for example, and like take their profession or their career matters into their own hands. Or it could be other topics as well. But generally speaking, when they choose to be more rebellious and independent, they get good luck or like good outcomes, basically. Now let's talk about Jupiter in Aquarius in the 12th house. The 12th house is about spirituality, creativity, and the subconscious mind. It's all about our perception. And Jupiter is about good fortune. And Aquarius is about things that are unexpected or shocking or unusual. So a lot of times Jupiter in this placement will show that you gain good fortune through sudden spiritual revelations or sudden unusual spiritual encounters, or like spiritual awakenings. And so anyways, the image that I'm getting and the type of concept that this will show is like somebody that has a spiritual awakening at some point in their life, or can have several spiritual awakenings where they realize certain things in a sudden unusual moment. And of course, the 12th house is really about our perception, and Jupiter kind of will expand your perception at a sudden moment or something like that. And furthermore, Jupiter in this placement can make somebody a visionary and somebody that's quite forward thinking. They generally will have great ideas come to them at sudden moments, or like they will just have these very inventive ideas as well. And usually they will want to follow their dreams, and their dreams will cause them to have to do things in an unusual or very like self-reliant manner, because Aquarius is all about self-reliance and is everything that's unconventional. So a lot of times your dreams will cause you to have to step out on your own and kind of go against the crowd or do things different than what the norm is in society. But Jupiter really gives optimism, or like gives a strong inspiration to want to do certain things. And the 12th house can be about artistic things as well. So like any type of creative interests or creative careers might interest these people to the point that they will want to kind of strike out and make that into one of their goals, despite that being unusual, or like despite it being quote unquote an unlikely goal or something like that. But a lot of your good fortune will come unexpectedly, and it will come from you choosing to strike out on your own and follow your own dreams, because that's what Jupiter placement in Aquarius, and the 12th house is showing. So it's actually giving you a green light, or like a sign that those dreams that you have are not as far-fetched or as futile as they might seem on a very practical level, and you might actually be having those dreams for a reason. So anyway, that is Jupiter in Aquarius through each of the houses. That's all I have for you guys today. And if you enjoyed, then leave a like on this video and subscribe to this channel. But other than that, that's all, and I will talk to you